Practicing gratitude has been known to lower stress, create abundance, and increase overall health. But what about all those bad things that happen to you? How do you feel grateful for those, and why should you? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to share with you how and why it's so important that you do. Hello, I am Brenda and I help people create their extraordinary life of freedom by empowering them to tap into their true inner potential. If you're new here, I encourage you to subscribe because each and every week I will be coming in here with brand new topics for you. Now, I'm sure you've heard of gratitude. We all know that gratitude is important, but I will say that I started the actual practice of really being grateful as much as I possibly could about 3 years ago. I kind of needed to do it out of necessity because my life was going in a downward spiral and it was either going to go down with it or figure a way to come out of it. And technically gratitude is what pulled me out. But this is not just about me. I've been teaching it for many years now to other people. But even now, I just looked it up, and Forbes, according to Forbes, right, there's so many benefits to actual using gratitude in your life. And now I'm going to talk about, what do you do when those really bad things happen to you? Because how do you really be grateful for them? And there's a few things that you actually can do. So before I get into that, I want to just share with you what Forbes actually had to say, because I think it's actually really interesting because I've noticed all of these things, but I didn't do it to actually do all of these and get the benefits of these things, okay? So first off, better overall health. You have a lot of fewer aches and pains going on in your body if you have a practice of gratitude. It's not just being, appreciative in the moment one time. It's something that really starts to embody you as you practice gratitude. But it reduces the toxic emotions that you have. It helps you have empathy towards others, which then actually helps a lot with your own personal frustration and the way you interact with others. That's actually a big thing. It will increase your self-esteem as well as your mental health. And some of the things I'm going to talk about today will actually show you how to do that. But any of those times where you have bad things that happen to you, how can we use those things to apply gratitude and get the benefit of it? Because most of the time, it's one of the last things that you really want to do. And so, we do a 14-day breakthrough challenge, and we talk a lot about gratitude. One of the assignments that we give is to come up with 100 things to be grateful for. And, it sounds like it's a lot. It's grateful. One of the things that I noticed, usually the first time people go through this, is that the things that they're grateful for is very minute, very surface levels. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful for nature. And so I challenge them, and I'm going to challenge you to first off, implement gratitude. It's definitely something that you'll want to do. Sorry, I got something going on right here. Definitely something you're going to want to do. But as an example, I'm grateful for the nature outside. I'm grateful for the wind. Instead of that, you could say I'm grateful for the trees that I can see blowing in the wind to remind me to calm down, and for the shelter that they give the birds. Okay, now it may seem a little bit woo-woo or fooey to you, but honestly, going that deep is a practice. It's retraining some of the thought patterns that you have in your brain, okay? That's going to be another episode on thought patterns, but gratitude will help with that. And so for one, I just encourage you to actually start a gratitude practice. And what that means, what I started to do is that I knew this was important, but it was just one more thing to do. But I wanted to do it because, like I said, I didn't have any other choice. I did have a choice. I could have gone down. I didn't want to do that. I really wanted to raise myself up. And so I put an alarm on my phone, and it still goes off to this day. And there's a couple different ones, but the one that even my girls know, oh, Mom, it's 12:27. It's grateful time, because that's gone off for every single day for 3 years now. My foot goes off. It's grateful time. We all stop what we're doing. What are you grateful for? And encouraged all of them to do that also, right? Now I have one that also goes off in the morning, 10 minutes before I actually want to start my day, and I just lay there, it goes off, and instantaneous for 10 minutes in the morning, I am just saying the things that I'm grateful for, and I'm going deep, and they're not always the same thing, because then it becomes ritualized, and it's not really the purpose of it. So those are just some ways that you can actually implement gratitude into your day. Okay? But why is that important? It's because of the next thing. It's because of where this video is coming from. If you start practicing this gratitude, if you start thinking about this, it will become a habit, which is really nice, because when bad things happen to you, which they're going to, we're not going to get out through this world without these bad things happening to us, it will have an amazing effect on you. That is coming from research, it's coming from personal experience. And so that's kind of what I want to take you about. How do you do that? Let's say you get some news or something happens to you and it's bad. On all aspects, you're like, there's nothing good that is going to come of this, like nothing, right? Now, if you're in the practice of gratitude, you understand and know that that's not the case. There's going to be something there. But these are these three things. I want to tell you 3 ways to really start embodying this and incorporating this, because it'll absolutely help you and you'll see the benefits as you start to do it. And for one, it will start to get easier and easier and easier, that you won't have to actually go through these 3 steps. It'll just happen because you know it, okay? So the first thing is even if it hasn't happened to you yet, or something that's just really kind of still bothering you, even if it happened to you 10 years ago, right? These are some things to really start embodying. First thing is when something happens to you, or you hear this news, or it's there. You're in the moment. Number 1 is stay out of reaction mode. That's what we want to do. We're just really trained to go to that reaction mode and almost always it is negative. That's just where we go as humans, to be like going down there. And so, like I said, when you really, really embody this and you've retrained your brain, you don't have to think about don't go there. You don't have to think about reaction, because you've already got this pattern that runs, and you kind of skip over these steps because you've done it so many times. Because you know what? Stuff happens every single day that maybe we're not super happy about, right? And so it gives you opportunities to practice this. But the first one is stay out of reaction mode. And basically, if you can have this understanding that no matter what, everything is working out for you. No matter what. And I have to repeat this phrase to myself a lot. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. And you have to believe that, because if you do believe that, if you know that stuff is happening for a reason, it's happening for you. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And if you can have this underlining thought, it makes it a little bit easier to get to the next phase, okay? If you've got a trust factor in God, if you have a trust in faith, a trust in the universe, a trust in source, a trust in anything, that they got your back. You're not out here on your own. This stuff is happening to you for a reason. And so stay out of reaction mode. Because if you can do that, then you can do number 2, which is physically don't go there. Physically don't go down the thought pattern of, oh my gosh, this just happened. Now this is going to happen. Now this is going to happen. And because of that, then this is going to happen. And your brain can do that so fast and without your knowledge. This is a lot of subconscious programming that's going on. And so the next step is just don't go there. Don't allow yourself to go there. And so if you can stay out of reaction mode and be like, okay, I don't know what this is going on right now, but like, okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. Then you can do the third one, which the third one is getting you to the next phase. The third one is to getting to the fact of, this is the most important thing I can do right now, is this is out of my control. I can let this go, and I'm just going to have to trust, which sometimes is very hard to do, especially on the circumstances. But believe me, it's actually very, very, very beneficial, okay? Because here's the thing. When you start to do this over and over and over, even if it's not major big life things, that's small things, you will start to be able to reflect back. This is the power of letting this stuff go. This is the power of, number 1, staying out of the reaction mode. Number 2, just physically don't let your mind go down to the dark side, right? Don't go there. And number 3, let it go and trust that everything's going to be okay. Because when that happens, you can start to have these things happen to you, realize that, wow, if that hadn't have happened, then this wouldn't have happened. And because that happened, this happened. Wow, look at that. Look at how that actually worked out, right? So you have to have this level of self-awareness and a desire, all right? If you have a desire to better your life, this is the stuff you're going to do. If you don't have a desire to better your life and you just want to complain and blame others, this isn't going to work for you, right? You wouldn't be here anyway, right? Okay, so here's the thing. When you have these life experiences that have happened and you can look back, that's where the power comes from this. In the moment, it's okay. It's a good thing. But the power comes by doing it over and over and being able to look back and reflect, okay? So here's some examples. I'm going to go big and I'm going to pull it kind of down. There's been so many things in my life, but I started off with the first one. Like, I was going down, right? And I had no option except to stay down, and I didn't want to do that. I had 3 girls looking up to me. I had to be strong. I had to figure out what we're going to do. But when I finally got my divorce, which was a couple years ago, it was a very hard break. It was very unhealthy relationship that I was in, and there was a lot of bad stuff that happened. It was not a good type of breakup, no matter what. Just wasn't really on my part, but it was fine. And so, I made the decision to it was time to get out of there. It was time to take the girls and let's be safe and let's go down this road. Well, out of that bad thing that happened, many more bad things did happen, but every single one of them I'm grateful for. And I literally remember telling him in his face, I will be grateful for this moment. I don't know when, but I know I will. And I'm so proud of that moment because I knew that in the moment how devastating it was, how horrible it was, the news that I was getting, the crap that was going on, I was going to be grateful for it. And the reality was, looking back now, 3 years, looking back like a little over 3 years now, I'm so incredibly grateful for the way that things turned out. Not that I would ever want to go through it again, but I'm grateful for them because, for one, what I realized is that I allowed myself to be treated in a way that I would never allow anybody else to do. But the fact is, I allowed it. Why would I have allowed myself to be treated like that and to have my girls being treated like, why did that happen? Well, that caused me to do a lot of thinking. That caused me to do a lot of reflection. And from that, I really started to understand where my self-worth came from. That was a really, really big deal. Like, your self-worth coming from your production, coming from your success, coming from the money that you made, that's not where your self-worth comes from. And that's where mine came from. So I really, for the last few years, have had to work on that, because if you don't have true self-worth inside of you, well, then there's a lot of shit that can go wrong in your life, okay? And so that divorce and that horrible thing that happened to me, knowing that I'd be grateful, not even understanding why I'd be grateful, but it taught me so many lessons. And in all honesty, that was just one tiny one, all right? Another one, which was pretty big, was that our business, instantaneous 6-figure income gone within the blink of an eye. Like, all of a sudden, it was just gone. And it was like, okay. By that time, we had at least understood that something is going to come from this. But the holy crap moment when you're like, what are we going to do? Like, this is reality. This is bills. Like, all the money is gone. What do we do? Right? Well, guess what that does? That really teaches you to dig down. That really teaches you how far you can go. It teaches you a lot of different things. And what actually came out of it is it caused us to reevaluate our purpose, reevaluate our passion, and we eventually completely switched our business plan, which allowed us to work less hours and be a lot happier and eventually make the same amount of money. It took a little bit, but didn't get there, right? And so the quality of life factor went way up because of that. Like, if I wasn't looking for these things, then I wouldn't be grateful for the bad things that were happening in life. And in all honesty, it makes it a lot easier to get through some of these bad things when you have that faith, when you have this trust that you're like, you know what can I gain from this? What good in this moment can I possibly think of? Because otherwise I'm going to lose it. When you're in that moment, that's where gratitude can happen. And these don't have to be big things, all right? It start with little small things, like you're going to the doctor and they tell you that, you are so overweight, you've got to make a change. Well, that's pretty crappy going on in the moment, right? That's like, you got to change this. You're probably feeling pretty yucky. You got to do all this stuff. Like, what's the bad thing that, this is bad, but where's the gratefulness? Well, obviously a lot of things can come from that, but not only the physical, like, okay, you're going to get healthier, you're going to, lose weight, you'll have more energy, things like that, but it gives you the chance to be the internal. What was I thinking? What was I allowing that led myself to get to that position, right? And so these are questions that you can start asking. And if you're not going down with the desire of why should I be grateful for these things can just go over your head and you'll just continue existing. But if you're really trying to better yourself and you're really trying to, make that next leap in your life, or at least just start to feel better, these are the things that you want to do. But even as small as like, you caught all the red lights on the way to wherever you were going and you were a little bit late and you caught every single red light. Like, how annoying can that really be? Well, What are you grateful for in that moment? Believe me, I've been there. It's like, really? I need more lessons on patience. I do know. I know that. I know I need more lessons on patience. Thank you for allowing me to be present in this moment so that I can remember to have patience, and so just thinking about that, or being present and not being in the future, and hey, this red light's here, maybe it gives you a time to think about something where if you were driving, who knows, right? So the whole point of this video, the whole point of the scope is that yes, bad things are going to happen to you, but a practice of gratitude, and I keep saying practice because I didn't understand that until almost recently, but having gratitude is great. It's wonderful. It's such a good thing to have because of all the things I've said, but it also just boosts your mood and it boosts those around you. I mean, with my alarm going off where it says grateful time, and I have 3 teenage girls, there's 4 of us here, like that can't but help increase their levels of awareness of what's going on, because it's like, and so a practice of gratitude, it will never just come like that until you start practicing it and retraining your brain. Instead of looking for the negative, instead of going down there, which we're just too easily wired to do that, it's a little bit of swimming upstream, practicing that gratitude, putting things in place that force you to look at the good. It's one of the best things that you can do for yourself, inside and out. So with that, hopefully I've given you a few things to think about. I've given you a few examples about, how you can be gratitude. What I would like to do is, this is something that I teach a lot at the end of the video here. So go take some action on this. I always talk about action tasks when I'm doing my trainings, or people to my team, or students or clients or whoever. Do an action task. What can you do to put some kind of gratitude practice into place? Whether or not it's just putting an alarm on your phone that says, hey, what are you grateful for right now? That's the best thing to start with. That's what really helped me. Just started to think about this a little bit more in the moment, because you're going to want to do it and you're going to forget. Like, life is going to happen, right? Maybe it's getting up a little bit earlier. I challenge you to actually do, have this moment of appreciation, gratitude every single day, and go post it on social media. Literally, I did this in a challenge with one of my other groups. And so it was like every single day, even if you think you have the most boring day, being able to go outside and have lunch, and just being, I'm so grateful for the fact that I can be outside and have sun on my face, because I know many people can't do that. Just something like that. The little things of gratitude will really start to bubble up. Okay. Last but not least, what I absolutely encourage you to do is click the link below that talks about our 14-day breakthrough challenge, because I mentioned it earlier, but it's not a gratitude challenge. We do talk a little bit about it, but we also share with you a lot of other reframes to be able to think about things differently, why you react to things differently, and how you've been trained, and some of the limiting beliefs and blocks that you might have, which when you release those, it just opens things up a lot easier. So I encourage you to find out more about our 14-day breakthrough challenge, figure out when it is, opt in for that. We even have a breakthrough series training that we give you for free just for learning about that. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. There's a lot of information in here, but take a moment to think about, what are you grateful for right now? Leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And again, this is Brenda Gagne. Have a great day. Hope to see you on the inside, especially inside our breakthrough challenge. All right, bye-bye.